The Stranger Things finale sucked. It just straight up does. The plot holes rival the holes in Swiss cheese, it feels rushed, and there's more loose ends than a cheap sweater. It's actually comical how much is left ambiguous. Lots of foreshadowing and plot devices were set up and then completely abandoned. Many fans felt like the second half of the season had been tampered with given the drastic shift in quality from Volume 1. Were entire scenes and storylines cut? The Duffer Brothers and the guy who plays Mr. Clark for some reason say no, but... sure, okay. The point is, everything already felt off. Expectations were fluctuating between hope and despair more than the last trial in a Danganronpa game, so by the time the finale dropped, anxiety for what's to come was at its peak. The finale was being pushed as the pinnacle of TV, the perfect ending, it sticks the landing. Definitely not like, Game of Thrones. Stranger Things editor Dean Zimmerman shares that the showrunners are carefully ensuring they avoid a Game of Thrones-esque series finale. As Zimmerman spoke to Screen Rant about his work on Deadpool and Wolverine ahead of its home release, the editor teased what Stranger Things Season 5 has in store, promising a scale grander than what came before. Zimmerman was quick to praise the work of the two showrunners, Matt and Ross Duffer. Furthermore, the editor acknowledged that it is difficult to craft a fan-pleasing finale that can satisfy everyone, citing Game of Thrones as an example of what the Duffers were keen to avoid. He said, "Stranger Things is in full swing. It is bigger than anyone's going to ever imagine. Their whole mission is to stick the landing on this final season where controversially a lot of people say Game of Thrones did not. They did not want that, and they won't settle for anything but perfection. So I can assure you that you will not be disappointed, and I can definitely assure you that you will have about the same amount and maybe a little more content than we did in Season 4. I think everyone was pretty worried, honestly. The way that Game of Thrones got torn to shreds in that final season, we're all walking into this going, we hope to not have that kind of thing happen. But then we read the scripts. We knew that it was something special.
Having watched the final version of the final episode of the final season of Stranger Things, it is a masterpiece. The Duffers have stuck that landing so 10 out of 10 perfect.
That episode, episode 8, they land the plane. And it is the best episode. It's the best episode ever done.
I think my favorite ending is Game of Thrones.
That's it? No fucking way. No. No. What? No. No. Huh. This is the great sticking the landing? They fake out death that we all could see coming? My expectations were low, and then they were really high. And then it started, and I was like, okay, I can get into this. And then it kept going, and I'm like, okay, where's the payoff? Okay. You are telling me. You are saying to me, this is the hap satisfied? What's satisfactory here? What are you doing? What the fuck are you cooking? Certainly not this. So yeah, the finale of Stranger Things fell flat on its face. But how? For years, the show has impressed with its storytelling, visuals, and subverting of expectations. It's a show by outcasts, for outcasts, meant to uplift outcasts. Well, the answer is one word. Conformity. Keen-eyed fans of the show notice that the finale feels weird. The characters, Mike in particular, don't seem quite like themselves. Analyzing people's posture, hairstyles, inconsistencies, background details, the loose ends, the missing pieces. The Duffer Brothers were being irritatingly cryptic in their post-finale interviews, unable to give straight answers to save their lives.
Certain things are open to interpretation. I don't know.
I
truly don't know.
I don't know what happened to them.
Ross and I know.
I don't know.
No, for sure. I don't know. We just don't know. Because, Josh, man, there was so much. My head is in a... I really shouldn't have done any of these post-mortem interviews because I'm not in a good place. Why the hell we did any of them yesterday is beyond me. I'm fried. I was I'm getting over the flu. Anyone mad at any answers we gave yesterday? Just give me a break.
Most interesting of all, the WSQK radio station was never addressed, despite it constantly dropping hidden messages that seemed to be hinting towards what to expect in Season 5. And after the finale aired, WSQK closed down like this.
Vance,
Friends don't lie, and I won't either. This really is the end of WSQK.
Hawkins, we both wanted to say a few final words before WSQK powers down. Why don't you go first, Mindy Flair? I need a second to just get it together. Now's not the time, chicken.
Well, Hawkins, I want to start by thanking you. Yes, you. Tuned in right now, listening to WSQK The Squawk. Oh, and you're not listening alone. You never were. Every voice, every song, every moment on this frequency traveled outward, spreading, connecting, becoming something larger. We really took over this town, didn't we? The studio is just where WSQK started from. Tonight, WSQK comes to a close. And for one last time, I've been your queen at the controls, Mindy Flair. And Hawkins, you never know. I might just be back one day. Oh, Vance, make sure you close the gate on the way out of the radio station, huh? You are so bad, always leaving it open.
Yeah, sorry about that. Mindy, that was absolutely perfect. It was almost like you took the words right out of my mouth and my brain. But Hawkins, what a curiosity voyage we've been on together.
The finale was so anticlimactic. Surely there's something missing here, right? Some hints suggest that maybe this finale isn't the true ending. Perhaps the plot twist still has to show its hand. They didn't defeat Vecna. Vecna won. Conformity won. So many things don't make sense in the finale. I don't think that what we're being shown is a true happy ending. The characters didn't win at all. Vecna did. I know some of you are thinking, Joyce chopped his head off and everyone escaped. Elle sacrificed herself, and 18 months later, everyone's living happily ever after. And also, Mike thinks Elle might still be alive. It's all very saccharine, right? Wrong. Let me take you through the most glaring issues in the finale storyline. Part 1. Attempting to rationalize the finale. The crew gets into the Upside Down with little issue once they're past the military. Previously, the Upside Down had been infested with demo creatures, and it was established that the vines are part of the hive mind. In Season 4, when the older teens make their way into the Upside Down, they're immediately attacked by demo bats. We also see that the lake has no water, and when vines are stepped on, the vines attack. We've established some rules for how it works. Even on the crawl in Season 5, the military gets ambushed by demogorgons. In the finale, there's not a single demo in sight. No threat whatsoever. Anyway, Suicide Squad goes to the lab to break into Henry's mind, and somehow they're able to get the power to work, and the sensory deprivation tank has water in it. Very convenient. Those three succeed in stopping the ritual before the radio tower gets crushed, and the kids can start making their escape. The military finds them, and Kali is absolutely shot and killed. There's no way she doesn't bleed out. She's hemorrhaging. Meanwhile, the other team infiltrates the Abyss. Once again, suspiciously barren. This is where the demos are canonically from, but everyone gets to saunter through the wasteland just fine.
Don't know about you guys, but I was expecting more like...
Deadly vines?
Monsters?
There have to be some monsters in the Abyss.
I agree.
Not to mention, the Mind Flayer likes it cold, so why is the environment and lighting making the Abyss look sweltering?
But why do we have to have them in the desert?
So the Vecna fight. Mind Flayer is revealed to have taken the form of this massive kaiju spider, and this sure is convenient, because that means the Mind Flayer is now vulnerable to bullets and fire. This definitely wouldn't have worked with the Shadow Monster. Elle is also able to make it into the Abyss off-screen, and essentially flies her way into the Mind Flayer and mogs Vecna. Will is also able to come in clutch, halting Vecna's attack and ripping his arm off. Oh yeah, and remember how Will is connected to the hive mind and feels everything? There were zero consequences to the assault on Vecna or the Mind Flayer. He's totally fine. Vecna gets impaled, Joyce beheads him, the kids are free and completely unharmed, and they all go home victorious. No casualties, no injuries, literally everyone survived the fight with a literal kaiju and a monster with psychokinesis, and the only death was Kali, and she was killed by a regular human with a gun. Except the military intercepts them at the Max Z. They found the secret base, and they know their plans to kill Vecna and nuke the Upside Down. Everyone gets arrested, and Elle somehow gets back inside the gate despite the kryptonite, which was already established to render people with powers completely incapacitated. She also pulls Mike into her mind somehow, but we've already established with Max earlier this episode, entering Elle's mind would put both of them in a trance, which they are not. The military also doesn't try to capture Elle, they just kind of stand there and watch as she kills herself. And then, as per the Duffers, the military just kind of leaves Hawkins after that, and everything goes back to normal. Never mind that Nancy killed several military personnel, And never mind that these civilians know that the military had a secret lab filled with pregnant women being used in human experiments to create psychic children to use as weapons against the commies. Everyone seems to have moved on except for Mike, who seems to be having serious survivor's guilt, but only in regards to the fact that Elle killed herself, not because it was his bomb that killed her, as well as 8 very pregnant women, which brings Mike's kill count up to 17 if you count killing a pregnant woman that close to giving birth as the death of 2 humans. That's a crazy thing for Mike not to care about. Like, okay. There's a lot of weirdness in the graduation scene that people notice. Everyone is sitting the same way. The Wheelers, sans Holly, all of the same Henry-esque hairstyle, and for some reason, there's zero backlash from the student body when Dustin busts out his Hellfire shirt, considering that just like 2 years ago, everyone thought Hellfire was a satanic cult responsible for the gruesome deaths of 4 people.
These murders are ritualistic sacrifices. They call themselves Hellfire. Let us cast out this evil and save Hawkins together!
Something funny, Anderson? Let go. Hellfire is over. You hear me? Let go. Or what? What are you gonna do? Stop!
Also, everyone is friends for some reason.
I just wanted to say what you did up there was pretty badass.
Oh.
Hey, so I'm having a party later tonight. You guys should come.
At some point during the time skip, the status quo had been dissolved and all the cliques get along. No more conflict, how convenient. Also, when the principal goes on his rant, the speakers start to act up, and Mike seems to realize something. He realized that Elle could not have brought him into her mind before she died, and thinks that perhaps it was Kali's illusion they saw. Elle might be alive, which gives everyone hope. How wholesome. Dustin goes off to college to pursue science. Lucas stays together with his high school sweetheart like his parents. Max is styled similar to Billy for some reason. Will is at a bar drinking and smoking like his father, and Mike is the spitting image of Ted Wheeler, stuck living in the past, unsatisfied with reality as he keeps telling stories. The show that's constantly been about subverting expectations suddenly gives us the most predictable ending of all.
Do you even hear yourselves right now? Blend in, follow the rules. That's not what we've ever done.
Everything was too perfect, too ambiguous. The fight with Vecna was way too easy. Literally nothing went wrong. The plan went off without a hitch. Considering Vecna can literally read minds and is literally tethered to Will, there is no reason the fight should have been that easy. How was Will unharmed? Why did the Mind Flayer have a weaker physical form? If it was in its true form, it wouldn't have lost the fight to Guns and Fire. Why was Henry so easily tricked and outrun inside his mind? Where were the demos at? At some point, we and the characters were brought into an illusion where Vecna is easily defeated and our heroes emerge victorious. Kali and Elle died, yes, but they stopped the cycle, so it had to happen, and it's sad. Never mind what a fucked up message it is to say that it's a beautiful sacrifice for a 16-year-old abuse victim to kill herself to be freed of her pain and suffering.
It's just so beautiful and cathartic and something that I've been wanting for a very long time, personally, but also for 11, I just think it's incredibly important that it all ends for her and the suffering and pain ends.
Nobody questioned it. This is the good ending we're being fed at the expense of everything making sense. A Wrinkle in Time was heavily referenced throughout the season. Kamazatz in the book is a planet that was consumed by the Black Thing and is now being mind-controlled by a gigantic brain named It. The planet is a hive mind. Everyone behaves exactly the same way, the homes are identical, and they all move in a rhythm. A major part of the story is that Charles Wallace lets It into his mind to learn more about It, believing he is strong enough to overcome its influence. He overestimates himself and is completely taken over. The way his sister Meg defeats It and saves Charles Wallace is through her love for him. Love overcoming fear is a big theme here. In the first Shadow, Joyce also asked the question, can love defeat fear?
No, it's the story about the destructive power of fear. That's the central question of the play. Can love defeat fear?
Yes! No!
Which is the whole point of her play. The same play that gets alluded to within Henry's memories. Oh yeah, by the way, Joyce and Hopper went to high school with Henry, but you definitely wouldn't know that from the show. This concept of love defeats fear never came up in the finale. We do see Will's self-acceptance arc as his way to remove the fear that Vecna can control him with, but Will is just one character. Also, his coming out doesn't exactly parallel how Meg saved Charles Wallace in A Wrinkle in Time, but nobody gets possessed in the finale. Will, Vecna, and the kids are the only ones connected to the Hive. The absolute closest parallel we get is Will trying to empathize with Henry and turn him away from the Mind Flayer.
It wasn't you. It was never you. You were just a kid like me. You're just like me, Henry.
But this doesn't work, and even if it did, empathy for your abuser isn't exactly the same as love. Love also doesn't keep Elle from sacrificing herself. Not the love of her father, and not Mike. Mike can't even return her I love you right before she dies. Regardless of the reason you believe that this is, love didn't defeat fear at all.
It's like a feeling, or yeah, like something like old people say to each other sometimes.
Old people?
Yeah, what I want to say.
You never say it.
I say it.
You can't even write it, Mike.
But I am scared that one day you'll realize you don't need me anymore. And I thought that if I said how I felt, it would somehow make that day hurt more.
I love you.
Fear keeps Mike from saying it back, and fear tells Elle that suicide is the only way to save everyone. And for some reason she's right? This is not a satisfactory ending. Hawkins is like Camazotz, consumed by the black thing and one with the hive mind. They're all one now. Henry talked about how much he despised the monotony of life, and now Hawkins is a prisoner to it. This, in particular, explains all the holes in Elle's death. It was an illusion in a sense, but it wasn't Kali. Kali can't project that far, and there's no way she could have timed it right, and she was also definitely dead by then. Elle also wouldn't be able to pull Mike into her mind, but Vecna could certainly trick him into seeing her. Elle has no place in the hive mind, and there's no way she'd be able to be controlled like the others. She had to be removed from the equation. So there you have it. The grim reality of the finale of Stranger Things. Things seemed too easy because they were. We were being led to believe the ending was happy, completely oblivious to the truth of it all. The Duffer Brothers' greatest plot twist of all, right? The ending was a lie? Wrong. I don't think this is what the Duffers intended at all, actually. I said the reason the ending is so bad is because of that one simple word, conformity. I don't think the in-universe story was intended to end with all the characters being controlled by the Mind Flayer, trapped in their own version of Camazotz. But that's what happened. The choices the writers made is what put their characters in this spot.
Part 2. How to accidentally ruin your show forever.
The Duffers claimed when they were writing the show they were tuning out all of the noise and focusing solely on the story that they wanted to write. But the show lost its by outcast, for outcast soul by the end of the show. One of the big themes we've seen since season 1 is that trying to conform to what others want you to be hurts you. Forced conformity is what's killing the kids.
It's forced conformity. That's what's killing the kids!
Being true to yourself and not letting others define you is the essence of the show. A lot of arcs and character development through the show reflects this. For example, season 1 Joyce never gives up on finding Will, not giving a fuck how people think she's lost her damn mind. Not even Jonathan pleading with her to see reason is enough to stop her. Nancy through seasons 1 and 2 and even 3 and 4 gives up the facade of being the pretty, smart, and popular girl, takes her reputation and flushes it because she thinks that hunting for the truth is less dangerous than hiding from it. She starts taking huge risks, subverting those expectations of the stereotypical polite, rules-abiding good girl. Lucas in season 4 faces a quandary where he joins the basketball team in an effort to stop being bullied. He's tired of him and his friends being punching bags and wants something to be different in high school. Or better, but living the double life of Hellfire and the basketball team only causes him grief. Trying to conform literally could have gotten him killed, as well as very nearly causing the death of Max.
No!
11 in season 3 has a fantastic arc reflecting the show's message. Max helps Elle experience girlhood, childlike wonder, and self-discovery. Elle needed Max to stop letting Mike or Hopper or her past define her.
I tell you, there's more to life than stupid boys.
It's literally the happiest we see her in the entire show. She uses her powers for fun. She experiences life, and it's corny and on the nose, but being yourself is the most freeing thing someone can experience. In fact, that's literally how Will unlocks his powers. Robin helps Will see that he needs to stop using others to define his self-worth, and that love is a source of strength, not shame. There's nothing wrong with loving or being loved, and it's something he deserves just as much as anyone else, platonic, familial, and romantic. And Mike in season 1 establishes that yes, he and his friends get bullied and it sucks, but he consistently believes that bullies are just mouth breathers, and even if you get kicked around by them, they're not worth letting get to you.
You can't let these mouth breathers ruin you. Ruin us. I mean, they're nobodies. They're nobodies. Eddie never gave a rat's ass about what those mouth breathers were saying about him, and you know it.
But Mike also craves normalcy more than anybody else, constantly trying to be someone he's not.
I think Mike's just trying to be as normal as possible and try to keep on a normal path.
Mike is just trying to be a normal teenager as much as he can. And, you know, if that means teen romance, then Go for it, buddy.
And I think it's weird that he never gets a proper arc that gets him to overcome his insecurities and emotional repression. Mike acts like he's proud to be weird and will go to the ends of the earth to protect his friends, but he starts itching to grow up and just be a normal teenager. It would be interesting to turn this into an arc where he's compartmentalizing his trauma, or is so deep in the closet that he hopes being normal will make it go away, but all his growth is ambiguous at best, just like the rest of this show. The show has been bending more and more to appeal to the general audience over the original target audience. I think one of the biggest indicators of this is the reluctance to kill off established characters. Like, okay, I love Steve, but he's one of the most awful characters in the entire main cast, I'm sorry. But Steve is like Princess Diana to the general audience, so can't kill him off. And the result of this is that the regular cast has become so bloated with characters with no stakes in the show. Hopper had no reason to survive. The Russian prison subplot contributed nothing to the overall story. It was just an excuse to bring a beloved character back. But people can't even get over Barb or Eddie.
It's enough. Eddie is dead.
He's dead. So is Barb. Get over it, guys. Get over it.
Killing off characters means unnecessary noise, so they don't. They conform to what the wider audience wants from them. Like, I'm sorry, Nancy Lovers, I love her too, but you're telling me that she went 1v1 with the Mind Flayer with just a gun and wasn't harmed even a little? Sorry, that would have been such a dope way for her to have died. But the stakes are fucking non-existent. Even Ted Wheeler didn't get killed off, the most unimportant, useless, expendable character ever. He hasn't done a damn thing the entire run of the show, and his old ass got thrown through a closet and had to be put in a medically induced coma? Why the hell is he alive? They didn't even interact with him in the hospital. He might as well have died. Another way the show tried to appeal to the general audience is through the Marvelification of the finale. Stranger Things went from a spooky show about a missing boy and a psychic girl to a fucking Godzilla film inside a Linkin Park music video. The horror element was lost, and we're left watching a piss-filtered glorified action movie with a low-stakes fight against a giant spider. I'll admit it, I thought the kaiju spider design was sick. I was a little gagged by its reveal. However, when you start comparing it with the rest of the show, it's much more obvious it was made to impress the general audience given how popular superhero movies are. Apparently, big CGI monster fights are what qualifies as good television. It doesn't feel cohesive with the show. It feels like it exists for audience appeal. It feels like they're jingling keys to keep our attention. My gripe isn't so much the size of it all as it is that the Mind Flayer is a physical entity for this fight. Being able to kill your main antagonist with fire and guns when it used to appear as a terrifying looming shadow is a cop-out. It lacks creativity. I would have loved to see a final battle that dealt more with psychological horror, battles of the mind, but a flare gun is cool too, I guess. You can actually see that Will was initially planned to have this amazing face-off with the Mind Flayer, tearing it apart and harming himself in the process, but ultimately defeating it. The thing that had been ruining his life for so long, he finally reclaimed himself from it. That would have been so fucking sick. But we're only allowed to use our imaginations to see what should have been there in the first place. It's just astonishing that they would introduce such a massive, intimidating creature at the climax of the supernatural plot and have it do fuck all. It's hard to be scared of something that's just putzing around while getting lit up. You can't even be nervous when a character is actually in peril because you know they're gonna be fine. But you bet your ass are gonna kill off a girl who's never had a day of peace in her life after a series of injustices being done to her character. Mike and Elle were made into love interests in season 1. He was clearly smitten by the girl with superpowers, who was also his only hope in finding his best friend. And it's incredibly blatant that Elle is special to Mike in ways that others aren't. Ergo, it only makes sense that they would become the main pairing of the show. Main boy and main girl. It's the most obvious pairing. The safe pairing, and our segue into how botched Eleven's character was in the finale for the sake of conforming to the expectations of the audience. Eleven in season 5 is a 16-year-old girl who's only lived 4 years outside of a lab, and only 8 of those months were in normalcy. She was stolen from her mother and used as a lab rat until she had escaped through the pipes. She was hunted by the government since she was 3 apples tall. She was tormented by bullies when she finally had a chance to just be normal. Like Hopper said, life has been so unfair to her. She was born into abuse, and then her sister Kali, who she had just reunited with, told her that they're starting the cycle again. That the military wants to imprison Elle and steal her blood to make more superpowered babies. Kali tells Elle there is only one way to end this cycle of abuse. By killing herself.
After we kill our brother, after the children are rescued, we don't leave with the others. We stay on the bridge when the Upside Down vanishes. So will we. It is the only way, Jane. The only way.
What a great message for abuse survivors. Great on you, duffers. Elle isn't just a supernatural entity. She is a person. We, the audience, see her learn how to be a person.
What is friend?
She learns how to speak more. She learns how to be a friend. She learns how to be a kid. Her relationship with Max in season 3 is by far the best demonstration of her character. Elle has no semblance of personal identity until Max teaches her. Elle only knows about being Mike's girlfriend and Hopper's daughter.
Do you like that? How do I know what I like? You just try things on until you find something that feels like you. Like me? Yeah. Not Hopper. Not Mike. You.
Elle and Mike have no functional reason for being in a relationship past season 4. Their only connection with each other is that they're dating. They are only together because the writers say they should be. The relationship seems to be ambiguous for all of season 5, with no real meaningful interaction between them until the finale, and even that's a stretch.
You understand me better than anyone.
You've seen it. I've been bullied my entire life. I mean, I know what it's like.
No, you don't.
Mike? Mike? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Come on. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
What did you do? What did you do? What have you done? What have you done?
Let me also say, Dr. K and the military subplot, completely useless. I dare say the only reason they were introduced was because the Duffers wanted a good reason to kill Elle off. They wanted her to have a noble sacrifice, as well as a parallel to the finale of season 1. Duffers reasoned that Elle had to go because she was essentially a stand-in for the magic of childhood. The other characters needed to move on and grow up like she's fucking Peter Pan or something. That's bullshit. Elle isn't a magical entity or spirit or imaginary friend. She's a human being and a survivor of extreme trauma and abuse. She wanted nothing more than to be a normal person with a family, friends, and a place to call home. She was robbed of a childhood. Making Elle sound like a concept instead of a person is so dehumanizing, especially given that she spent most of her life being used as a tool instead of a child. It's actually alarming how they talk about her suicide. It sounds like they're trying to be edgy and deep, when in reality it's making light of people who have survived trauma and suicidal ideation.
The whole episode has to be building towards 11 is gonna kill herself.
Like, if we're trying to sell it as she's gonna kill herself, and then she kills herself, we think she's made the choice to live.
I don't know.
Just kidding, she hasn't. Just kidding, she did. Like, that's where I
don't know if we have
go.
to play it like that.
That is how we
I don't know if we have to play it like
How
that.
would we play it?
We keep it ambiguous.
If making Elle's only option suicide isn't fucked up enough, the Duffers also said they tried to think of a truly happy ending for Elle, where she gets married to Mike, but it didn't make sense, so they didn't. The only two ways the Duffers could think to end Elle's story were suicide or married at 18 to Mike Wheeler. Her character truly only existed as a conduit for the supernatural plot, or being Mike's girlfriend. Which pill do you take? Conforming to the heteronormative expectations of a male and female lead being a couple ruined Elle as a character just as much as it did other elements of the story. If Elle had been treated as her own person rather than something to move the plot along, then maybe writing her a better ending would have been easier. Maybe if the character, whose entire purpose was to help Elle hide her identity multiple times, wasn't left handcuffed in a bunker in the middle of Nevada, they could have figured something out. So now we get to the elephant in the room. Will and Mike. Byler. For some of you, click away, hear me out.
Part 3. Queerbaiting too close to the sun.
The Duffers, as well as other directors, have always talked about how intentional every detail within their show is, from clothing to set design to the music playing. They want to reward people for noticing the subtleties and attention to detail. They want you to think everything is there for a reason. Will and Mike's close relationship has always been intrinsic to the plot of Stranger Things. The first 2 seasons exist to make it clear they are the absolute best of friends who were inseparable since they became friends on the first day of kindergarten. Will clearly trusts Mike more than anyone else.
Just please don't tell the others, okay? They won't understand.
And Mike feels he is Will's biggest protector.
Get you home, okay?
I got him. I think he just kind of stops because he just feels like there's no one there for, for him to fall back.
Yeah. Obviously, same with Will, so that's sort of what led to you guys in that pairing
you can see the character sort of light up again and be like, oh, I found my place again. Like I can save someone again.
We see sort of rifts start to form between them in season 3, which becomes much more apparent at the start of season 4.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Growing apart happens, but it's also revealed that Will is struggling with having deeper feelings for Mike.
Will is painting a lot. I think there is someone he likes, because he has been acting weird.
In turn, Mike says that because of the physical distance, he felt like he lost Will.
It's Hawkins. It's not the same without you.
They start to patch things up as they go to find Elle, which is when the painting is introduced. Will gives Mike a confession pretending that his feelings are Elle's. This is a textbook Cyrano trope, meaning at some point Mike should find out the truth and have to confront what his relationship with Will actually means to him. Mike is only able to tell Elle that he loves her through Will's lie and encouragement. And the storyline could have ended here, but after the 18th month time skip, we see that Will still has hope for a relationship with Mike. In fact, this is the most hopeful we've ever seen him. He opens up to Robin, she tells him about signals.
Signals?
Yeah, you know, like a brush of the knee, a bump of the elbow, a shared look.
They do this thing called shared looks, right?
We tried to do the shared looks thing.
I think Ross
He got one.
like a dice or shared looks.
I think it says shared looks.
And says that they snowball until they become an avalanche. Will wouldn't be asking how obvious if Mike wasn't giving him a reason to. By the end of Volume 1, with the Cyrano trope already in the bag and several scenes suggesting that there's something reciprocated between Meg and Will, anyone who understands how basic plot lines work would assume that this is building up to a relationship between Will and Mike.
You're trying to say that I'm evil and hell-bent on destroying the world?
Totally. No, I'm just saying that, you know, you're like a wizard, like him.
In D&D, Mike, not real life.
True. In real life, you're more like a sorcerer, because your powers don't come from a book of spells. They're innate. We really need some magic up here.
Let's say the snowball became an avalanche.
Mike even plays a big role in Will being able to accept himself and unlock his innate powers.
Do you want to be friends?
I just needed to stop being so goddamn scared.
Their relationship is now a factor within the overarching supernatural plot. They're meant to parallel Henry Creel and Patty Newby from The First Shadow as a narrative foil, meaning Patty's love for Henry could not stop Henry's powers from corrupting him, but Mike's love would save Will. With the way the story is going, the supernatural plot literally hinges on their relationship. You can tell by the production of Volume 1 as well as the show so far. The cast and crew are anticipating that this is leading up to a climax. The framing throughout Season 4 and Volume 1, how the cast acts during the Episode 4 table read.
Because your powers don't come from a book of spells. They're innate. Listen, as far as crazy...
The music during the sorcerer discussion being strings and birdsong when nothing else in the show sounds like this. Finn and Noah's performances also reflect this idea. I mean, we know Will is in love with Mike, and he does an excellent job acting with this. But the way Finn plays Mike feels like he is under the impression that it is reciprocal.
You find out slowly, kind of through this season, Will's kind of love towards Mike, and I think it's a really beautiful thing.
Any clues as to how Mike will handle that?
I don't think he knows. I think he's pretty clueless. There's probably a mutual understanding and an acceptance, I think.
Episode 5 seems to scrap this concept completely. Mike becomes uncharacteristically distant, stops playing a big role in the story, and has very little to do with Will. Will has little to do with the story either after he saves Max and Holly. Will's connection to Vecna stops mattering after he uses Will to find Max, as if he needed Will's help to realize a girl in a coma would be in the hospital. We get to the infamous coming out scene where Will spends a very long time trying to convince everyone that he is just like them in every way that matters, practically begging them not to turn on him when he reveals that he's gay.
I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be like my friends, and I am like you. I'm like you in almost every way. And literally all the same things. I don't like girls. He showed me a future, and And in this future, some of you are just worried for me. Worried that things will be harder for me, and it just makes me feel like something's wrong with me. So I push you away, and for the rest of us, we just drift apart more and more and more and more and more until I'm alone.
They spent 12 hours shooting this one scene, which is a disgusting thing to do for both your gay character and the gay actor who plays him.
No, so much pressure like I'd never felt before. I mean, holy shit. When they wrote it, not just with Will and Joyce, but with the entire cast standing there listening to it. So to add on to the pressure, it was everyone watching me do it. It felt like almost like a play where I had to like perform in front of this audience. It was so nerve-wracking. And then this scene, because of scheduling, was done in the middle of the night. So we were filming like 2, 3 a.m. And I was like, oh my God, of course, like, this is how it had to happen. It's like begging to get it all year. Like, can I read it? Can I read it? They're like, let us handle it. Like, I gotta be honest, the like, when everyone had to be like, and it won't, and me, and me, and me. I was like, is that gonna work?
Do you recall your co-stars' reactions the first time that you rehearsed the scene or did a table read? Sean Levy told us that the reactions on camera were genuine. Honestly, I was so wrapped up in my emotions and what I was feeling that I kind of blocked out everyone around me. I kind of had to because it was so nerve-wracking to know that the entire cast was there watching me. I had Winona next to me and the boys and Maya Hawke around me. It was all a blur. I don't really remember anyone's reactions, but watching it back, it was nice to see. It did feel genuine. How many takes did you do of the scene? Oh my God, it was endless. It was like a 12-hour day of just that monologue, and we weren't even done after the 12-hour day. We came back a week later to reshoot certain parts of the scene for another 12 hours. I was like, oh my God, how many more times can I do this scene? But Will coming out to everyone in their group means that his most personal secret is now out in the open. Will doesn't like girls, and now everyone knows. Mike knows. This sets up yet another opportunity to cycle back to the earlier Mike-Will plotline that had been drawn in the first 4 episodes of the season. Mike literally has all of the information in front of him. Will likes boys. Will had a crush. Elle told Mike she thought Will was painting something for someone he likes. Will gave Mike a very sentimental painting. Mike could be Will's Achilles heel in this scenario. We have an introduction of potential stakes leading into the final fight. This was how they could bring the Queerbaiting narrative foil into the story. When Patty's love failed to save Henry, Mike's would be able to save Will. Many suspect that Will was possessed again, and this would have made sense. Will and Vecna have established a two-way connection into each other's minds. He said some things in his coming out speech that were inconsistent with the timeline and Will's character.
We like biking to Melvault's for malted milkshakes.
Yeah, Melvault's is a grocery store in the 1980s, but in the 1950s it was a diner that sold milkshakes when Henry was in high school.
And we like getting lost in the woods.
And there's no reason that Henry wouldn't be able to control Will in the same way that Will controlled him. Not to mention that fighting Vecna should cause Will pain too. Much like Meg and Charles Wallace, it would be love that could free Will from the hive mind. I'll stop wasting your time, you and I both know this isn't what happened. Will's feelings for Mike are never actually discussed, and there is a very painting-shaped elephant in the room that never paid off. Attentive watchers had the rug pulled out from under them, left wondering what the hell they were supposed to expect. Have you ever heard of Chekhov's gun? It stems from the basic concept that if you show a gun, that gun should later be used. Any object of significance or detail that is introduced must have a payoff. Everything brought to the attention of the audience needs to have a purpose to be there, otherwise there is no satisfying conclusion. This is one of the most fundamental rules for good writing. Making 2 out of the 6 core main characters an explicitly gay couple in such a mainstream show would have been revolutionary. I got back into Stranger Things just a few months ago after not watching it since season 2 because I saw clips from volume 1 and thought, holy shit, they're actually gonna do it. They're actually setting these 2 up. It seems so pitifully obvious to me. So what the hell happened? Queerbait, yes, but this is so much more diabolical than that. They not only introduced a character that is canonically gay, but show us in season 3 that Will both craves a romantic relationship and believes that he will never find love.
Gross.
I don't think you're gonna think it's gross when you fall in love.
I'm not gonna fall in love.
They chose to make being in love with his best friend a major part of his character arc for 2 seasons before last second retconning it as a hallway crush.
And I had this crush on someone, even though I know they're not like me. but then I realized he's just my Tammy. And by Tammy I mean it was never about him. It was about me.
Will, come on.
And I won't go into detail, but Mike's queer coding has been present throughout the show.
You see, Michael? See what happened?
What happens when what? I'm the only one acting normal here. I'm the only one that cares about Will.
Our son with a girl?
All this that's been going on with Will, I can't imagine what it's been like for you. I want you to feel like you can talk to me. I never want you to feel like you have to hide anything from me.
There are choices that are being made for him that feel too deliberate to be a coincidence.
It's been a year, Mike. Meanwhile, Elle has like a book of letters from you.
That's because she's my girlfriend, Will.
And us?
We're friends. We're friends.
I mean, we're just friends.
Friends. You never say it.
I say it.
I didn't say it.
You didn't have to.
Only love makes you that crazy, sweetheart.
If we're both going crazy, we'll go crazy together, right?
And I don't know, maybe I feel like I lost you or something.
Thought I lost you.
They knew exactly what they were doing. And the Duffers didn't just fool the audience, but their own cast and crew. How do you even manage that?
How is he this clueless right now? Like with the Will scene, I remember asking the Duffers, like, why would he not know this? And they were like, don't worry, it'll pay off in the end.
Do you think Byler would ever be canon?
Be canon?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like they would date real. Or like Will would like
real.
Mike?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some more of that in season 4.
So they definitely know where they want to go with Will, and I think, yeah, it's always been pretty planned out. But we'll see how far it goes.
Is there a possibility of Byler?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't know. I don't,
Top one, the cutest couple there was. I'm tempted to do one of these two guys.
Oh yeah, sure, do it.
Maybe, but
Who?
well, he's.
Whether it was always queerbait or last-minute cowardice, the reason here is all the same. Conformity. We see a lot of the Duffers' last-minute attempts to go so far as to erase Byler from the narrative in the first place. Like the scene where Joyce is chopping off Vecna's head. All of the main characters see flashes of their trauma in relation to Vecna. Mike's traumatic flashback is only of Elle's disappearance in the season 1 finale. This is one of the most egregious examples of erasing Will from Mike's narrative in an attempt to shoehorn Elle into the forefront of Mike's character. The gall to not show anything from season 2 where Mike had to witness his best friend screaming in agony and being possessed is ridiculous. I don't care if they're romantic or not. Having to look into the dark, empty eyes of your best friend tied up in a shed and begging him to come back is absolutely the most traumatic thing Mike had to go through.
It was the first day of kindergarten. I knew nobody. I had no friends. And I just felt so alone and so scared. I asked if you wanted to be my friend. And you said yes. You said yes. It was the best thing I've ever done.
The character of Mike Wheeler has been hollowed out completely in some shitty half-assed attempt for the Duffers to reclaim their self-insert in just 4 episodes, obliterating the show in the process. They didn't even initially plan to close the Will-Mike storyline in any meaningful way. The quick scene on the radio tower was asked to be added by Will's actor Noah.
There was actually a scene in episode 8 that wasn't written that I was like, we didn't close this story well enough. And I told the Duffers, like, very terrified, because I was like, oh my God, I can't, I'm stepping out of my place, but I just like had to say something, and they did write in like a little scene to close a storyline. And then I started bringing it up again, and they're like, okay, no, shut up. Like it was one time.
And I mean, the scene was shit, but thank God it was there at all, I guess. It's like the Duffers have some sort of vindictive agenda towards people making suggestions that make perfect sense. Like how they responded to Finn asking to have a real weapon for the finale.
There is a scene that the Duffers, they got back at me because I kept complaining that, I was like, why don't we ever have actual real weapons? And I won't tell you what they did to combat that and to kind of say, oh, you want a weapon? Here you go.
Especially in Finn's like, don't give me a candlestick, please. Which is fair. He really wants a gun, and I'm just like, no. I don't think so.
When you put the flare gun debacle side by side with the writing in the radio tower scene, it really starts to come across like the Duffers making fun of the actors as well as the audience.
And you still think we can be friends?
Friends? No thanks.
Oh!
Best friends.
Oh my God, by the way!
Do you think the Duffer brothers were out to get him?
every day.
And you want to know something funny? In the fuck-ass Purple Rain montage, Will is in the background for most of the clips they use. You're in the shot, Noah. I just think it's weird that the Duffers would write Will and Mike's characters like this and then be surprised when people love their relationship and think they could have had an interesting romantic storyline. If the Duffers, 1, never planned for Byler, and 2, were tuning out the noise, it makes no sense that they started course correcting so fucking hard in the last 4 episodes that they took the whole show off the rails altogether. It all comes back to conformity to stupid heteronormative expectations of your male and female lead, especially since they were established romantic interests in season 1. How could they possibly break up the beloved straight couple? What is woman, if not for man? The public would be in shambles. Let's just ignore where the chemistry amongst the actors lies, or, you know, their opinions on their characters or whatever. I think the Duffers are narcissistic cowards who think they are the pinnacle of showmaking and untouchable geniuses of subtext and context clues. I think they have a vague understanding at best on how to write a long-form story. I think they got in over their heads and decided that a bigger budget inherently means that the show must be filled to the teeth with CGI monsters and special effects to be better. Contrary to what the gay Duffer may have been told, bigger is not always better. Less is more. But don't misunderstand, less is more does not mean leaving things to happen off screen and clarify them to your audience in an interview later. That is simply less. Show don't tell is another major fundamental in storytelling, particularly in a visual medium. We want to see, not hear whatever the heck Vecna tortured Will with. The fact that it isn't shown leads us to believe that the character is hiding something and we will see the truth later. But this isn't what happened. It was just lazy storytelling. I got so mad after Volume 2, I DM'd Raw Stuffer on Instagram to chew him out. Let me read it to you. Do you hate Mike Wheeler? Be serious. Most abysmal character undevelopment and pacing I have ever seen. I don't give a fuck, actually. The choice to focus on some tertiary children instead of the main characters for 4 seasons is crazy. Making Will come out to a room filled with people, some of whom he didn't even know because he was terrified of his abuser outing him, is crazy. An unrequited first love is not a universal queer experience, and the suggestion that it is, isn't it. Even if your plot twist is that Mike actually does return Will's feelings. But the gaslighting in the press about what you're doing either way is insane. Volume 2 is a massive disservice to your fans, your characters, and the queer community. The fact that you must clarify things in interviews because the show isn't doing it is ass writing. Mike's character has been shot out back and replaced with an unfeeling clone, and whatever resolution you think you have cooked up in the finale is not enough. Dog shit pacing. Why does nobody care that Hopper is alive? Show not tell is the most basic concept, and that went out the window entirely. Long-ass episodes where a lot of talking happened but nothing was said. Who greenlit this? Who wrote this tripe? Because it is not the same person who wrote the first half of this season. And then I had a little hope, December 31st at 1:35 a.m. and said, perhaps I judged you too harshly. And then I watched the finale and said, I take it back. What the fuck was that? I genuinely just think that the Duffers don't know how to use plot devices, full stop. Like, the funniest thing about the Cyranotrope being used in the show is that when you Google Cyranotrope, the first thing you will see is a post on Reddit detailing how it was used in season 4. But given that there was no payoff, even with Chekhov's gun, just makes us think that maybe the Duffers don't even know what playing Cyrano even means. But the humiliation ritual doesn't end at the finale. Oh, no. They were so confident in their abilities as writers, they filmed an entire documentary showcasing their utter incompetence as writers. They filmed an entire documentary advertising that they should never be hired to create any visual media ever again. They admit to things that should have been taken to the grave.
We went into production without having a finished script for the finale. That was scary because we wanted to get it right. It was the most important script of the season.
You are telling me that they entered production before they finished writing the show?
I mean, dude, the devil's in the screen direction. We're gonna get a script and it's gonna be like, oh, there's the other like 70% of business that we couldn't account for.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to get a final script in time for you to do this, so we're going to have to base it on conversations with them.
That's it, yeah. We're just going to have to figure it out.
They started filming shit without knowing what it was leading up to. Oh my god. It is comical to watch them talk about every single thing they knew needed to happen in the finale and their fears for how it could go wrong. Like, surely they must realize this. There's no way they don't.
At the end of the day, the audience cares most about the characters and not the spectacle.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna shit the bed at the end.
That's
it's like
what I'm
that's
saying.
it's
like
when you invest in characters and story for years of your life and then they fail you at the end by being either tone deaf to what brought you to that moment or disloyal to the spirit that made you love that storytelling, That's such a bitter disappointment, and it sticks with you.
It's so funny. It's so funny. They hyped up the finale so much, it was like they were trying to convince themselves and everyone else that it's good. Like if they said it enough times, then it would suddenly be true. But that's not how manifestation works. If you want the writing to be good, you have to write it, not ChatGPT.
I say kick away. Stop this meathead from reproducing and further infecting the world with his unique brand of idiocy.
We don't allow Reddit to affect our writing. Are you sure about that?
Ross and I had no interest in writing at all.
Then don't write, oh my god. The best episodes of the show are the ones written by someone else. Nobody will know we failed today. Oh, trust me, we all know. Everything is so cartoonishly stupid, it feels like a trick. It feels like an episode of The Office. I feel like we're being told a really bad joke that just never gets to the punchline, which, judging by their writing, is what happens to all of the Duffers jokes. Even the actors are so fed up with the Duffers. They all tried to warn us.
I am in, I think, Stranger Things 5. Haven't seen it.
I think you guys are better writers than me.
She's worried now that it's ending, and she's like, I have nothing to watch, you know?
She's gonna have such a fun time watching so much more stuff. Like, it's true. She's gonna be like, oh, this is better.
How would you describe the series finale in 3 words?
Funny, comedy, and...
Funny, comedy, and goofy. It's gonna be funny. The ending's so funny.
It's so funny. It's the best jokes we have all season.
What does it mean to be happy?
Really?
Yeah, it's I hope the audience will be as satisfied as we felt with the
There we go.
That's what it is.
That's the answer.
That's it.
That's the headline.
It's even worse because you can tell they all hate the ending, but they feel like they cannot voice their actual opinions. Millie looks like she's being held at gunpoint every time she's asked about her ending.
So without giving any spoilers away, were you guys happy with the ending of each of your characters?
Mm-hmm. She didn't say yes.
I love your face.
For fear of sounding ungrateful, they say that they're satisfied with how the story ended for their characters. But a lot of these actors grew up on this show. It's a huge part of their identities, and it's upsetting to think that they have no choice but to sound positive about the end, even if they felt like the last 10 years they dedicated to Stranger Things ended in a huge disservice to their hard work. The Duffers would be nothing without these actors' performances. I really have no choice but to laugh because the other option is to cry. Stranger Things' rewatchability is now non-existent because there's no payoff for the struggle. The reason the final fight looks like a Linkin Park music video is because In the End actually describes the finale bar for bar. You watch the show now and you think, man, they really did try so hard and they got so far, but in the end, shit sucks. I did script this before I hit record and I don't feel like doing it, so if you made it to the end of this video, sup. Thanks. It means a lot. I just wanted to get a couple of self-promo thingies out of the way. If this video happens to get clout, which is really like a 70-30 shot, and you want to support me in any way, I don't. From where my channel is currently at the time of recording and uploading this video, I wouldn't get any revenue from views or anything like that from this video. So if you want to give me a little support, besides, you know, hitting like, comment, and subscribe on here on YouTube, you could go over to my Twitch, follow me there. I stream when I have time, which isn't very often anymore. But you can go ahead, follow me on Twitch, drop a sub, something like that. That'd be really cool. I'd like that. I just wanted to throw a short sort of disclaimer at the end of this video. Okay, so throughout this video, I do make some statements that may come across as defending the actors of the show, but I want to be clear, I'm only speaking about them in the context of being employee/former child actors in a borderline toxic workplace environment. It's more about my feelings about the treatment towards them rather than the actors themselves, because I'm aware that several of them have either made extremely Zionist statements or have been complacent with their coworkers' actions. Unfortunately, mistreatment of an openly gay actor and exploiting his sexuality does put me on the same side as him in this one situation, but only from a community perspective, not him personally. Sorry, I have autism and an innate need to over-explain my actions and thoughts for fear of being misinterpreted. Just wanted to make sure people are on the same page as me.